Over the course of the next 7 days, I'm going to create a LEGO war between an interdimensional demon and the entire cartoon world. At the end of the 7 days, I'll have you, the audience, decide if it's enough to defeat this nutso. We've got a lot of ground to cover, from Ben 10 to Elmo, so let's get started. The first thing we'll need is a battleground. I've put together a 3 baseplate long post-Weirdmageddon base to work within. By the end of this video, we'll have created the biggest crossover event in history. Sorry, Infinity War, but did you have SpongeBob teaming up with Phineas while getting artillery assistance from the Powerpuff Girls? I didn't think so. That is no small feat, so to help pace myself, I have this handy spinning wheel that'll dictate which cartoons I build in what order. Enough stalling, let's give it a spin and get started. We're kicking off the week with Sesame Street. I debated on whether this counted since all the other cartoons are animated, but these are, hands down, some of the most recognizable characters. Sesame Street started in 1964, has a whopping 54 seasons and still going strong, and it stars the ticklish monster, Elmo. Let's inject Elmo with some steroids and make him jacked. While I build jacked Elmo, I just want to let you guys know really quick, I have a second channel now. It's called More Brickspiration, and it'll have various random videos that I feel like don't really belong in this channel. Already there is a video where me and Professor JJ rank LEGO YouTubers, so go check that out in the description below or the iCard above. Here's our buff Elmo build. I love how goofy he looks. I also designed a not safe for work version, and that'll be on my Only Bricks, link in the description. Let's roll the wheel again and see what we're tackling next. This video was inspired by my buddy Firebird Bricks. He made a few army building videos, so I messaged him and asked what cartoons he wanted. He replied Avatar: The Last Airbender, Ben 10, and Pokemon. This video would lose property value if it didn't have Ben 10 and Avatar, but Pokemon is more of a game than a show. I'm sorry. Let's do an Instagram poll. Okay, the people have spoken. Sorry, Caleb. Pokemon is out of the running. Let's move on to Ben 10. The first show aired in 2005, but the series has seen several reboots over the years. I designed a custom minifigure to share in a YouTube short a bit ago, so you may have already guessed that. Old Brickspiration heads may know that I'm not a fan of marking minifigures, but we have to make an exception to the rule to get these characters as accurate as possible. Here's my Ben 10 custom. Let's make one of his alien forms. I opted for Swampfire. I had to workshop this for a while to get it minifigure scale, plus I'm limited with what olive green parts I have. For the arms, I'm using Hulk's fists and hinge pieces combined with wrenches to get some mobility. The head was especially tricky. I got as close to the reference material as I could, and I think the final product looks pretty good. The final touch is a 2x2 rounded plate with corner tiles to create the Omnitrix logo. And now we're done. Back to the wheel for another spin. For the final build of the day, we're going to tackle Regular Show. It stars a talking bird and a talking raccoon, Mordecai and Rigby. Some of the shows we're tackling are extremely abstract with their character designs, so I enlisted the help of Brickfrog. Together, we scoured LEGO's catalog of minifigure parts to get as accurate as possible. Check them out in the description below. Here's what we landed on. Next, let's build the golf cart to ride into battle. Here's the frame of the golf cart. Let's pop some wheels on it. Next, I'll start building up the hood of the golf cart and tiling that off. We need a steering wheel, of course, and some comfy chairs. Only the comfiest, because we cannot have sore butts during the battle. And now we're done. Let's toss some minifigures on and call it a day. Disclaimer, during this entire process, my dreams were populated with potential designs to use in this mock. Unrelated, hyperfixation is defined by an immense focus on one person, activity, or object, and excluding or ignoring everything else. People ask how I do it. That's how.
The next day...
Alright, I need to hit the ground running, so let's move into lightning round and knock out a few of the easy ones. First up is Fairly Odd Parents. It's about two fairies granting the wishes of Timmy Turner. Let's build Wanda and Cosmo and add them to the fray. I'm using short legs and the most accurate torsos I could find. For their wings, I'm using this translucent neck element and 1x2 rounded plates. Finally, we'll add their heads and hair. These look pretty good, but this segment has gone on for too long. Just like the TV show. Next cartoon, Wheel Time. ScoobyDoo is next up. LEGO made sets for these back in 2015, but now the minifigures can be a little pricey. Thankfully, you guys like Sonic the Hedgehog, which helped me afford Norville Rogers and Do. Let's build the meme that was so popular it ended up in an official game. Ultra Shaggy. Born of Goku and a sandwich-loving goofball, he's one of the most powerful beings on the field. To recreate him in LEGO, I'll switch out his head in exchange for this one. LEGO released an updated Electro minifigure, and that came with these really cool translucent yellow lightning elements. Finally, let's place some power elements on Shaggy's hands, and now we're done. On to the next cartoon. The wheel is stated Looney Tunes is next up, so Looney Tunes has been around longer than any of us, which is crazy to think about. I feel old whenever someone in my comments says Riz or Giat, but Daffy and Bugs are nearing 100 years old. LEGO has made a Looney Tunes CMF, so I bought Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. I took some inspiration from Multiverses for Shaggy, so let's double dip and look at Bugs' moveset in that game. I landed on building a huge rocket for Bugs to ride on. I'm using letter tiles to spell out Acme and cheese slips to round out the build. Finally, we can add the cone and flame spewing out the back. Let's give Daffy a huge hammer, like a ridiculously huge hammer, and move on to the next cartoon. Wheel me please. Oh, perfect, Gravity Falls, the show that inspired today's video. Since Bill Cipher has such a prominent role in this build already, on the protagonist side, we'll just be including Dipper and Mabel. Thankfully, Dreams came in clutch, providing me with a new torso for Mabel and a cool jacket element for Dipper. A quick editing trick later, and here's my custom for the twins. So when my Discord server found out Sonic wasn't going to be in this video, they had some choice words for me. To appease them, let's put Sonic from Sonic Boom in the build. We'll use my design from the last video, but you guys recommended I switch out his arms for blue arms. Well, that was easy. What a great way to round out day 2. Let's hit the hay so I have plenty of energy for day 3. Good morning, apartment, ready to start day 3. Let's spin the wheel and find out what fate will have us build. Alright, SpongeBob, one of the most iconic characters of all time. This show started airing in 1999. Honestly, it's way older than I initially thought, and it's still getting new episodes. Teen Titans Go has nothing on the sponge. Thankfully, LEGO made official sets on this show, so after paying an arm and a leg for the iconic duo, we have Bob and Star. I'm sensing a pattern. Next, let's build the Patty Wagon. First, we'll take 4 thinly sliced pickle wheels, next a lightly toasted burger bun to use as a base. For the patty, press the meat down onto the bun, be sure to grill it to your liking. I love to use American cheese to give the wagon some proper dairy. Let the cheese melt and then add the freshest lettuce. Take the top of your toasted bun and make it street legal, adding headlights, a steering wheel, all that stuff. Finally, top it off with a flag and you've got yourself a genuine Patty Wagon. Perfect for your next cookout, or battle against an all-powerful demon. Let's take another crack at the wheel. Adventure Time! This is another good one. It covers the adventures of Finn the human and Jake the dog. This show is a light-hearted slice-of-life experience, until it isn't. Fitting in with the trends, the minifigures LEGO previously produced are very pricey now. Well, I keep saying that, why don't I show you? Raven was $50, Beast Boy was $20, Cyborg was $10, Finn was $40, Jake was $20, SpongeBob was $20, Patrick was $11, all 3 of the Powerpuff Girls were $24 in total, Scooby and Shaggy were $15, Bugs and Daffy were $10, and the Ducktails triplets were $15, and all 4 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were $40. When you put it that way, I question my financial decisions. Maybe consider subscribing so I can do more foolish stuff like this. I will say the only reason I could do this video is because of the love y'all have been showing me, so thank you. Circling back, I built this silly looking version of Jake. This looks hilarious, I love it, no other words are necessary. I also built Lady Rainicorn. It's based off LEGO's design, but I had to tweak the color since I don't own the set. I'm not going to dwell on this build for too long since it's the only one that almost technically a real LEGO set. Let's spin the wheel again. Okay, Teen Titans Go. It may have mixed reviews, but I can't say it's not influential. Plus, it's my most popular video by far, so I have to pray to Robin every day in the hopes that the algorithm will take away this burden. As for the minifigures, we have Robin, Cyborg, Beast Boy, Raven, and Starfire. The latter 3 are from the Dimensions line, which is why they're a little expensive. As for the build, I'm going to use my TT van. I've had this build for a while, but it hasn't appeared in a video until now. I'll have Cyborg drive, but scatter the rest of the team throughout the battlefield. This video is getting long enough as is, so let's jump into day 4.
But now the milkman's on his way, it's too late to say goodnight.
So say good morning!
First spin of the day gave me Avatar: The Last Airbender. It would be a crime if I didn't include my Appa design. How can anyone say no to this cute little face? I also built Aang an air bubble to ride through the battlefield. I'm using minifigs.me's custom minifigures, and you'll be able to find Sokka, Katara, Aang, and Toph in the final mock. Check out my affiliate link in the description below if you want to get your hands on them. It helps me out a ton. The wheel dictates we built Phineas and Ferb next. I adore this show and was very excited about the opportunity to build it, so we must do it justice. Here are my custom Phineas and Ferb minifigures. I drew on a torso to get the orange stripes for Phineas. Do I feel bad? A little bit. Will I be able to sleep at night? Eventually. I'm opting to build Rover the robot dog. I'm using Brickhead's bricks for his feet and a combination of slopes and modified 1x2 bricks to build the legs. I had to build a ton of these segments. You can see in the source material there's 2 per leg, meaning we have to have 8 in total. The body was a little tricky only because of the hatch on top. I'm leaving some exposed studs for minifigures to stand on later. Next, let's give him a tail and a neck, and all that's left is the head. I'm using these 2x2 dome pieces in lime green and topping it off with a brown stud for the eyes. How it connects to the head is interesting, and I was really proud of myself for figuring it out. After placing on some ears, we are done with the build. I also created the baseball launcher for Ferb to wield. I have some other plans for Phineas, but that'll have to wait until day 5, so let's hit the hay. Rise and shine, campers, let's hit the ground running with another spin of the wheel. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the franchise with 1,000 reboots. For today's video, I'm gonna build the Party Wagon. I grabbed 4 wheels, popped them into the frame, and started building out the walls. The Party Wagon is a modified bus, so I made sure to remember that as I went along. The wagon has a few layers of yellow bricks before shifting into a lime green color palette. Next came the roof. I built a yellow spoiler and a small dish, and then to match the dish I added orange lasers on either side of the bus. I think they replaced the rear view mirrors, I'm not sure. Finally, the door to the bus can open to reveal a modified chair to allow the turtles to fight on the go. In the spirit of things, I imagined what Phineas would build if he were to modify the chair. The result is a spring-loaded fist to snatch eye bats out of the air. That's one more build complete, so let's spin the wheel. Ducktails Woo! I love this show. Both the original and the reboot are great. We've pretty much run out of space on our battlefield, so I'm gonna scatter the triplets Huey, Dewey, and Louie throughout the mock, fighting alongside the other cartoons. I do want to finally use my Gizmo Duck build, which I designed over a year ago, but never got around to including it in a build. Let's replace his head with Huey's and have him hang out next to Chad Elmo. There's no need to roll the wheel again. Powerpuff Girls is the last cartoon to cover. LEGO has produced minifigures for all 3 of them. I created translucent builds for each of them with their corresponding color. There's not much else to say, so let's move on into day 6.
The number of the day really hops and kicks. The number of the day is 6.
On day 6, I built a large-scale Bill Cipher. You might have seen it from my community tab. He turned out great. I also built some eye bats of varying sizes to help Bill on his quest for world domination. That's really all I did on day 6, so let's jump into day 7.
Good morning, apartment!
The first half of day 7 was putting all of the builds onto the battlefield. Thankfully, we finished with time to spare.